We're going to begin with a prayer, and then we'll say the pledge. So pray with me, please. So, Father God, we come to you in just a spirit of thanks and just gratitude, dear God, for what you're doing in this community. And we see your hand on us. We feel your favor among us. We see many good things coming our way, and they're all because of your goodness. And we just come to you with thanks and acknowledging that very fact. And dear God, now today, as we look into some matters for the city, I pray for wisdom. I pray for clarity. I pray that we would go the way you'd have us go. And dear God, your goodness and kindness, there's nothing better in this world. And we feel it on this community, Pampa, Texas. And we thank you for it. And we give you all the honor and glory and praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee,
Texas,
one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, do we have anybody for public comment today? Nope. All right. Very good. We'll go to agenda item number 1. Consider approving the minutes of the November 10th, 2025 regular commission meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the November 10th, 2025 regular meeting as presented.
A second.
Okay, any additions or corrections? Anybody? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 2, consider adopting on second and final reading ordinance number 1827, amending the revenues and appropriations for the support of the city of Pampa for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2024 and ending September 30, 2025. Ordinance number 1827 reads as follows. An ordinance amending the revenues and appropriations for the support of the city of Pampa for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2024 and ending September 30th, 2025, providing for an increase in revenues to include forfeiture funds and transfer between funds for capital improvements and equipment purchases, and providing for an increase in appropriations for repairs, equipment, and improvement purchases previously unbudgeted.
I make a motion to adopt on second and final reading ordinance number 1827 as presented.
A second.
Okay, Teresa, comment?
I don't have anything to add unless you guys have any questions from the last meeting.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Anybody? All right. Hearing none, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 3, consider accepting the Pampa Economic Development Corporation's 2024-2025 annual report.
Make a motion to approve the PEDC's 2024-2025 annual report.
A second.
Okay, I'll ask Ryan Bradley to come up and give us anything you got, brother.
Sounds good. Okay. As y'all are aware, I'm Ryan Bradley. I'm the executive director of your Pampa EDC. And so I'll just go through this really quickly so we can get on. And so this year, the PEDC has undergone several personnel changes. Board member Ted Hutto resigned from both the EDC and the PEC boards in February. Nathan Bailey, the vice president of finance at Hunting, has been appointed to fill Ted's position on the PEC board. However, Ted's position on the PEDC board has remained vacant through the end of 2025, and additionally, Jason Bagwell has opted to not renew his position with the board through 2026, citing personal and business reasons. We received applications through October, with interviews conducted through early November, presented to the City Commission, was scheduled to be today during the annual report, with those positions to start in January 26. Similar to previous years, the EDC and the PEC have experienced a surge in activity and interest from the local community as well as from national and international developers. We have enhanced our support of local businesses across all sectors, offer several public grants, business support loans, and growth loans this year. There's obviously been a growing interest in artificial intelligence and data centers in our regions. This included facilities from Intersect Meitner and the former APR Duos, which will be established in the Pampa-Gray County area along with other nearby projects. Also, as everybody in our region is aware, the world's largest data center announced inside of Amarillo will also help develop crucial infrastructure for the data center industry, which will significantly benefit Pampa. Their location on the northeast side is expected to stimulate housing and employment both in Pampa and in the regions between. In the coming year, the corridor, hopefully between Pampa and Amarillo, will turn into a tech hub. On a local level, as we deal with the local clients, we direct them to Spencer McElhannon. He assists in reviewing and developing their business plans to present to our board. His business development services are invaluable for both entrepreneurs and experienced business owners. His offerings are free. The EDC pays for it, and it's been very, very well received. And so all this is to be said, the EDC and the Energy Center is well positioned in regional development market. Our access to rail, natural gas, wind, and fiber, along with our central location in the United States, has proven to be advantageous for businesses looking to start new ventures or relocate from other regions within the U.S. Our board is excited and optimistic about the future of Pampa. We are proactive in pursuing growth and appreciate the support received from the city and county commissions. With that being said, in y'all's packets, you have all the loans that we went out, all the hours that we met, and all that sort of stuff. One thing that I do want to add that I did not include in there, at the tail end of, I want to say last month, I attended the TEDC annual conference. And the tail end of it concluded with discussions about tariffs and the local economies in Texas and all this kind of stuff. And one of the things that they imparted upon all of us is that the era of large mega projects, industrial and whatnot, those are going to start slimming down, and that the local EDC should be focusing on and expecting smaller job counts and smaller mid-sized projects. And when evaluating projects for viability and investment, to focus on ones that are well-funded and then put money back into the community as opposed to the number of jobs being created, because now they're starting to see a retraction in the large employers. For us, what that means is that's actually where our bread and butter is in the small to medium. That is what our community needs. So for most of the other developers that were there that day, it was sad news for them, but to me, that's exactly kind of what I want to hear. Because those small to mid are what fit into our community very well, and getting a focus on ones that are well-funded and that invest back into the community is exactly what we'll be doing.
Yeah.
So, do y'all have any questions on the report? Okay.
Ryan, I would just say what you mentioned right there, the smaller businesses, like in our area, supporting these large investments that are coming. And by the way,
Absolutely.
thank you, Lord, that we're in ground zero for that.
Absolutely.
That's only God, I think, but there's going to be a lot of support businesses. And I was curious about that when I was reading your report. Are you getting requests for support? Type businesses to
Yes,
start?
absolutely. So all the focus and all the media and talk winds up being on, the large project, the data center, the this, the that. What they don't discuss is all the support jobs that come with it, all the small businesses. And so right now, our region and our area doesn't traditionally have these businesses. And so those small support and service sectors are not yet ingrained or established. So right now is the perfect opportunity to be reaching out to those smaller service sectors to get them established in Pampa before they get established in other communities in our
Yes.
region.
I agree.
And we're definitely chasing those.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Yeah, real quick to follow up on that question, do you have access to those current contractors?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Cool.
Yeah. Anything else? Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Do y'all want me to read the letter for the 2 EDC positions now, or do you want me to come up at the end and do that as well?
Do that now if you want,
Yeah.
or at the end.
I think it'd be great if we could go ahead and do it, if that won't matter. Yeah,
Okay.
let's do that.
So, on behalf of the Pampa EDC, I am writing to formally submit our recommendations for appointments for 2 positions on the EDC Board of Directors with terms starting in January 2026. We initiated our open process to fill these vacancies. A total of 8 information packets were distributed, resulting in 4 completed applications. Of the 4 applicants, 1 withdrew and 3 were interviewed by the EDC Board. Following those interviews and deliberations, the board voted to recommend 2 candidates for appointment by the City Commission, those being Eduardo Campos and Dan Fowler. These 2 appointments are intended to fill the positions currently held by Ted Hutto and Mr. Jason Bagwell. Mr. Hutto resigned from the board in February, while Mr. Bagwell has chosen not to renew his position and serve through December. We're grateful for the services and contribution these 2 gentlemen have made during their tenure on the board, and we recognize the time and effort they have invested in supporting the community on all of our economic endeavors. Mr. Campos and Mr. Fowler were selected based on their experience, engagement in the community, and their ability to contribute to the EDC mission of supporting business growth, job creation, and long-term economic viability. The board is confident that both individuals will bring valuable insight, stability, and continued continuity to the organization. Accordingly, the EDC Board respectfully requests that the City Commission consider and approve the appointment of Eduardo Campos and Dan Fowler to the EDC Board of Directors. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay,
So, with that, I have nothing more to add.
okay. Questions, comments about that? Anybody? And they're both here today,
Yes, sir.
right? Can we hear from them? Would that be appropriate? Can I ask them a question?
I did not tell them they were going to speak, but by all means.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
Who wants to go first?
yeah, you can both come. That's okay. Just appreciate you guys being willing to serve on this, and just curious about your desire and what you want to see happen. What would you like to accomplish?
1, 2, 3.
Thanks for having me. My kind of interest in filling this role is kind of out of my work experience and the current situation that Pampa's in. I've worked in renewable industries for the last 15 years, both on the development side, the EPC, leading EPC teams, and on the owner side. In those different experiences and different communities, I've seen kind of the immediate explosion of economical benefit from just the sheer number of people that relocate to a project. And I've also seen some of those communities, very similar to Pampa, have taken some of the existing resources, personnel, and kind of pivoted to cater to that new industry that comes in and how much they've thrived throughout the years. That being my experience, my current situation is that that we're kind of, as you say, Mayor, we're ground zero of kind of the precipice of similar situation here in Pampa, Gray County, and the Panhandle. I think I'm in a position now where I'd really like to leverage my commitment, my just being part of Pampa, the longevity that my wife and I expect to have in Pampa, and take those experiences with this opportunity and really try to mirror and even improve on some of those scenarios where I've seen in smaller communities. As I mentioned in different scenarios, Pampa is kind of in a scenario where there's so much current industry and current resources here in town that can be such a great complement to everything that's coming, and want to be able to be a resource to try to merge that and marry that as much as possible, and really kind of encourage people that pivoting to something else doesn't necessarily need to be a big change, and there could be a lot of benefit from it. So that's kind of in a lot of words what I hope to accomplish, both as being part of the EDC and then just being a long-term resident of Pampa.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is Eduardo.
Yeah. That's great.
Any questions? Or?
Well, I might just ask you, so with your position with Intersect, do you think you can navigate that okay with the?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm pretty good at being pretty stone-faced on the things that I can and can't say.
Yeah.
But
I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless, I do think that, not even from an influence scenario, I think that there's a lot of scenarios that come up that I think even just with the right kind of nudge, a lot of people, kind of coaching people here in town to say like, hey, this is coming up. I would market yourself this way, and I think it'll be received in a certain way. And that's where I think I've had a lot of success, and just in some of the different communities, and even to date, there's a lot of organizations here in town that haven't worked with renewables. That doesn't necessarily mean that they can't take their their core values, their core business, and apply it. I mean, one of the biggest parts of this business, the biggest scope is civil. I mean, we have so many different dirt contractors here in town that maybe just because they don't have renewables in the name, they may decide, well, we can't field that, and quite the contrary. Like, you know, you're going to bring the things that they're not going to want to bring. So I don't feel that to be an issue, and I think that there's definitely creative ways that, you know, I can use that role without, you know, muttering the waters or maybe treading against, you know, lines that shouldn't be.
Yeah, okay, great, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, Dan.
I realized I should have gone first. Well, Eduardo said a lot of the same things that I feel. I am a Georgia transplant. My wife is a Pampa native, so I've been here about 15 years, and I've worked as a financial advisor for almost 12 years. And so I'm a long-term Pampa resident. I've built roots here, and so part of the way to affect change is to be a part of things like this. And so I want to see Pampa grow and prosper, especially to see diversified industry come in so we're not so heavily relied on oil and gas, which is a good start with the data centers, things like that that are coming in. And I just want to be a part of that on the ground floor and to be able to bring any financial insight that I can and just make it a place that my kids want to come back to. And build roots and lay down family plans here.
Yeah, good. On the financial side, what's your education on that, as far as reading financials and that kind of thing? Accounting?
Yeah, so I've got my bachelor's in finance at the University of Georgia.
Great.
And have my Series 7 and 66 for the financial advice side. And then just have, you know, been in the industry, you know, reading research and going into the financial analysis of companies. So, you know, hopefully can apply that, but then also just being a long-term resident, want to have a voice in what can come in and hopefully see a good development of the community as we go forward.
Yeah, that's great. I think having that background be really helpful, just looking at a prospect and seeing if they have the wherewithal to do what they're proposing, and
Right.
that's valuable. So,
Yep.
great. Questions? Anybody?
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for letting me put you on the spot.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else, Ryan?
No, sir, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we jumped to agenda item 8. It looks like that's what that was, right?
You can still take that in order if you want to.
Okay. You want
If
to
there,
do it
if you think there's need for discussion in executive session, you can have executive session first if you
and then
choose.
do it then?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. We'll do that. So thanks. Appreciate it.
It was nice to meet you. Well, one of you.
Okay. We'll move to agenda item number 4. Consider adopting resolution number R25-028, authorizing the city of Pampa to participate in the Panhandle Regional Mutual Aid Agreement and designating the mayor as the city's representative. Resolution number R25-028 reads as follows. A resolution by the City Commission of Pampa, Texas, authorizing the city's participation in the Panhandle Region, Texas State Planning Region 1, Regional Mutual Aid Agreement, and designating the mayor to serve as the city's chief representative in all matters pertaining to the city's participation in this agreement.
I make a motion to adopt resolution number R25-028 as presented.
I will second.
Okay, Troy, you want to add some color to that?
So this is an agreement that's already in place. They're just renewing it. They're supposed to do it every 5 years, but it's been, I don't think it's been 6, maybe 7 years since I have it. So what they did is they went in and redid some language. Nothing's changed. There's no major. So what the gist of it is, top 26 counties, the PRPs that we're involved in, you say that you'll respond, if you can, to help with mutual aid. Why that's important is because we use it all the time with the wildfires and those types of things. We call on those people. Key factors of this are, if you work past 12 hours, only when you have to pay. So if they call us, the same thing. We rarely have an event that lasts more than 12 hours. as fires and those types of things. So that first 12 hours is covered, and you don't have to pay, or you can't get paid back from that. Does that make sense, everyone? Nothing's changed in the language. They're just updating and redoing it to that. And so since you guys are new, let me kind of explain how mutual aid works and aid works from the state and FEMA. So anytime we have an incident here in town, right, we handle it ourselves, right? Unless it's so big that we can't handle it, and that's when we start calling in our neighbors, and they bring fire trucks and those types of things in to help us. If it gets bigger than that, that's when we call the state, and that's when TDM comes in. Now, sometimes they'll do special little projects, but usually everything's handled from the lowest level until you can't anymore. So, like if you hear on the news that FEMA didn't do anything, they didn't show up, FEMA doesn't show up and save people. Think of FEMA as just like a big checkbook. They show up with loans and that type of thing, right? They're not there to rescue people. That's solely dependent on the local jurisdiction and the state. Does that make sense to everyone? So all this is, we're just updating the agreement, and it's just new language in there, and it's just the current version, which has been outdated for 5 or 6 years, maybe a little bit longer than that, I think.
Yeah, I might just add on that point that we rely on the PRPC for this document. You can imagine it's a gargantuan task to get 26 counties to do anything at the same time is a piece of work. So we rely on them, and they had some staff changes. The previous person that was doing this was really good at it and hammered it out every 5 years. She left, and they've had some changes, so it kind of got delayed. There's no harm, no foul. I mean, even without it updated, we're still doing mutual aid, and we're still receiving it if we need it. So this is just getting us back on track for that 5-year renewal.
The other thing I'll add to that is if we do get aid from FEMA or an FMAG where they're going to pay it, they look at this to see if you have a mutual aid agreement first, because they want you to handle it locally first. So I've seen where they've denied some claims because they didn't have mutual aid. So that's one important. It's just
Yeah,
so we can claim money.
okay.
Yep.
All right.
Appreciate it, Troy.
Thank you.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 5.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, I think going back to, I'm gonna throw a wrench into things.
Okay.
Agenda item 3, I think we got our motions, but did we vote on it?
I don't think we
I
do.
don't think.
You
we
know,
did.
I think you're right. Yeah, I don't think we voted. I have a motion and a second, but it was to consider accepting the Economic Development Corporation's report.
Correct.
So, yeah, I don't think we voted.
Ryan took too long.
Yeah.
Too much
That's
talking. We got
right,
sidetracked.
Threw us off.
sitting here checking my notes, I'm like, I don't see it, I don't see it.
Okay, all right, well, we should do that.
Yes.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to accept that report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Good catch, Commissioner, thank you.
It was all of us.
Okay, now we're going to agenda item number 5. Consider approving the First Amendment to the Residential Housing Incentive Agreement.
Did they vote on? Okay, the previous one? You did get a vote on the last one?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah,
all right,
okay.
good to go.
Agenda item number 5, consider approving the First Amendment to the Residential Housing Incentive Agreement with J&M Bagwell Properties, LLC, amending project completion and infrastructure expenditure deadlines, and authorize the city manager to execute.
I make a motion to approve the First Amendment to residential housing agreement with J&M Bagwell Properties as presented.
I'll second.
Okay. Shane, you want to explain?
Yeah, I might just let you guys know, as you already know, that Jason approached the city. His deadline was coming up at the end of this calendar year. He still intends to do the project, but he had his lead engineer has some health issues that got him behind. He asked for an extension. This is basically an 18-month extension. It's 9 months to have the infrastructure in place, and then 9 more to have the homes in place. So he was good with this extension and appreciated that. So I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Okay.
What kind of homes are gonna be expected?
There's a mixture of townhomes and single-family residence. Is that right, Luke? Yeah, it's a combination. It's quite different than the other housing incentive that we gave out for Ammon's property. His were the new homes, the
Cookie
garden homes, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Jason's proposal is a lot different than that, and he just got, like I said, got delayed to where he wasn't going to be able to get it done, and still wanted to take advantage of the incentive. And it's up to you guys if we still want to take advantage of that.
Okay. Any other questions
I don't.
about that? Okay, Luke, anything to add to that? Is that adequate time to put the development in, you think?
As long as it keeps it rolling.
Okay, okay. All right, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 6, consider approving the master services agreement between the City of Pampa and Utility Service Company, Inc. for water tank maintenance and authorizing the city manager to execute all necessary documents.
I make a motion to approve the master services agreement with the Utility Service Company as presented and authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents.
I second.
Okay, Luke Reber, you want to come up and tell us about that?
Get that adjusted right. Well, good evening. I got that right last time I said good morning, so I got that right. So we're here today to talk about water tanks and water storage. So over the last several months, Gary and I have been in discussion about our water tanks, and just so y'all know that if you don't know, we have 10 major storage tanks throughout the city of Pampa. We have 4 elevated. One of them's kind of small out at the water treatment plant, kind of inconsequential. We have then 6 ground storage tanks, pump station 2, pump station 3, the elevated that you see everywhere out at the state correctional facilities, so they're kind of scattered around. But in discussions over this over the last several months have been kind of around maintenance and upkeep and repairs and things that need to be happening to these tanks to ensure water quality for our citizens and also not to damage our pocketbooks too much at some point in time. So as we went through that, we kind of started the discussions on what to do about it, and some of the things that came up were whether we do it ourselves, whether we engineer it ourselves, contract it out ourselves, do the inspections through third party, that kind of thing. Opportunity came up here again a couple months ago with USG Water Utility Services Company. We're going to present on that here in just a minute, but they provide a lot of these things in-house, in package, and kind of alleviate some of the burden off of us. So this will be something we kind of consider and discuss moving forward. But before we get too much into that, I want John Hoffman is here with Utility Services or USG Water. John's going to talk to us about their company, what they do, and he's going to talk to us about what they do for each of these tanks as we have, and then I'll get back up and talk about some more of the information. So John, if you'll come up, please.
Oh, bring this microphone down. Let me try to put it down. Okay, let's see. Not sure where the slideshow is. Can you bring it up there for me? There we go. Okay, I'm going to tell you about us. We started doing tank maintenance in 1963 in North Carolina. And in 1985, we brought the first asset management program for water storage tanks to the market. And since then, we've been a nationwide company. We've got 13 service centers across the country, and we have 43 people like myself, a water system consultant, working across the country with communities to try to help them with their water storage issues. We did about 2,800 renovations last year. We've got over 8,500 tanks in our program at this current time. We do over 10,000 inspections and washouts every year. We've got several tanks over 100 years old in our program. As a matter of fact, we did one last year for the city of Morton that's 105 years old. We renovated that. It's still in service and looking beautiful. We usually have about 125 crews working across the nation. So we've got a crew in the area right now starting on some tanks in Andrews. So we've got you covered as far as crews are concerned. And we'll talk about some of your neighbors that are using our services in a few minutes. The concept is you transfer all the risk of maintaining your tanks to us. You still own them, you still operate them, we maintain them. We're going to climb the tanks every single year. Every other year, we're going to reach out and we're going to say, take these tanks offline. We're going inside. We're going to wash them out. We're going to inspect the interior. We're going to make sure that there aren't any minor issues become major issues later on. So we're always on the tanks. We're always taking care of them. And we're going to assume 100% of the responsibility, like I said. There's one point of contact, and it's all, as you'll hear me say a lot, one throat to choke. If there's a problem, you call me and we'll fix it. We've got one of the benefits that Teresa and I will talk about in the future is Gas B34. We're going to be able to allow you to stop taking depreciation on all your tanks since they're going to be on a maintenance program. So we'll talk more about that in the future, assuming you guys decide to put your tanks with us. So that'll free up a lot of cash flow for you. Okay, traditional fragmented business models, what I like to call it. You're going to reach out to an engineering firm. You're going to deal with coating manufacturers, inspection firms, contractors, and everybody's going to start pointing their fingers. You're going to have all sorts of issues. Your coating is going to be guaranteed for 1 year, and in 366 days from the time your tank is painted, nobody's going to help you. Nobody's going to want to come in and do anything for you unless you open your checkbook. With us, we're going to take care of everything. We're going to do all your upfront renovations. We're going to take care of your tank as long as it's on our program. And we're also on buy board. So if you look there, you can see that one throat to choke is me.
Mm-hmm.
What's included with the asset management program? All the washouts and all the inspections like I talked about. Every year there'll be an inspection, photographs. If we need to do an ROV, we'll do an ROV. We prefer to do a washout so we can make sure that any kind of sediment, any kind of problems in that tank are removed. All your interior and exterior renovations are done for the life of the tank. We'll do the upfront renovations to bring the tanks back to like new condition. And then we're going to keep them that way with annual inspections and with renovations whenever they're needed. Whether it's an overcoat, whether it's a blast, TCEQ says your ladder's not wide enough anymore because we changed it. We're going to widen the ladder. All that stuff will be taken care of. So we'll keep the tanks up to code. Emergency repairs. The tank I mentioned in Morton, a week after we got that back in service, somebody shot it. Right in the middle of the M with the high school logo on it, water just spraying out the side of it. We turned the crew around and sent them back and fixed it. And if you call with an emergency on the tank, we'll roll trucks within 48 hours. We're also going to take care of all your security measures. We're going to make sure nobody can get on your tank, and we'll certainly make sure nobody can get in your tank. Okay, and right here is just a few of your neighbors that we take care of their tanks in this area. We've got the center of the universe circled in red up there in Pampa, and as you can see, we've got quite a few customers in the area. Hereford joined us this year. Brownfield joined us this year. We've got lots of tanks that we're taking care of just in this territory. We've got scopes of work set up for all the tanks. We know when we're going to be on the tanks. We know what needs to be done. We've taken paint samples. We know what we're dealing with. We've seen the inside of the tanks. Scopes of work are all lined out. We know what we're getting into, and we'll take care of those tanks for you. Do you have any questions?
So with so many tanks in the area that you're already taking care of, do you have a home office in this area?
Our service center's in Houston. That's
Okay.
in Tomlin. That's
Okay.
the service center. Our corporate office is in Perry, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hold that against us.
Okay.
He lives in Memphis. I live in Memphis, Texas.
Okay.
So I'm your local representative.
What's it cost?
A lot.
Obviously. That's my question.
Yeah.
Money.
We're gonna talk about that. I might just add too that we are, the timing is impeccable, but we're dealing with a tank company, not them, a competitor, that we hired to clean our tanks in the last year and realized that there were some issues that after they left, they'd actually gone in and cleaned a portion of the tank and took the photograph and left out of here. So we're in the middle of a mess with a
a tank company right now, which has kind of led us to this point. We don't want to deal with that every year, so we want somebody we can trust that buys into the program, and they treat them like they're theirs and not just here to get the money.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what we've been doing in the past. We've used other companies.
We have used contracted companies for cleaning and inspection. Like a lot of the things, the can has been kicked down the road on a lot of these. And so as they talk about money, you're going to see some big numbers there, but that's because of the lack of a maintenance program.
Yeah.
Up until now, we've only done it as we've discovered it.
Emergency situations.
That's
Yep.
the problem.
And if you'll remember, in our capital requests for our capital improvement program, we have about $5 million worth of capital requests every year through the water fund. The majority of these, the fairly larger ones, are replacements of our storage tanks.
Needed
things like that.
maintenance
Yes,
on
and maintenance
storage
on it.
tanks. Yes.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. So yeah, a little bit on the money side. I know that's the big question, and it's been something that we have not taken lightly because this is a long request. So when we've worked with John, we kind of developed about a 10-year program. That doesn't mean we have a 10-year signed contract. That just means we're planning this out over the next 10 years. Each one of these agreements is essentially for 1 year. We can opt out at the end of those years and pay for the work that's been completed during that year. But we have that freedom if we need to. Say a tank, we took it offline and didn't use it anymore, we don't need to continue maintenance on it, then we would take that off that kind of program. However, by doing this way, the advantage is spreading out costs. So for instance, Pump Station 2, according to our plan, is scheduled to be rehabbed and renovated next year in 2026. Well, what that allows us to do, instead of eating the cost all at one time, we can spread it over 5 years with this company. If we decide to cancel, in your packets, it's shown in there is a cancellation schedule fee for that, just in case we say, hey, no, we're done with all this, but we will pay for the work that is owed, that is listed out. So there's some options there in order to get out of some of that, and just to be able to work with us on our finances. So John has been really good to help us plan on that. For example, Pump Station 3, Pump Station 3, there's been some talk about it, and so we shifted the renovation of the big tank out there a little farther out and give us more time to talk about it and make decisions, so it wasn't crammed so much at the beginning, which kind of helped then spread some of the costs out. But you can't push this stuff too far out because it needs to be done. These tanks are in need of some serious renovations, some repainting and stuff to keep them from corroding any further. Before I get to some of the final numbers, something to think about as we looked at this, I did some research and to prepare myself for this, is that to rehab most of these, if we'd go out and do them ourselves, it's anywhere from $500 to $1 million a tank, $500,000 to $1 million a tank. So at 10 tanks, there's the math, that cost goes up pretty quick. If we were to replace these tanks, the average going cost for a tank replacement, whether it's ground storage or elevated, is about $3.75 million per million gallons of storage. So if we just flat came in and replaced 10 million gallons of storage, that's $37 million. So with a maintenance program, we can push that out a long ways, being able to maintenance. I mean, if you have a tank on there that's been there for 105 years, imagine what we can do with ours and be able to restore them and keep them going. So those are the kind of things that we think of as we go through this. The inspection and maintenance fees, of course, as Shane's already talked about, we've been doing those every couple of years. Those are just reoccurring fees that sometimes are to our satisfaction, sometimes to our not, and we're having to deal with that. So it's something that John and his crew could take care of. Overall, over the next 10 years, it's an estimated about $6 million to do all the work, all the inspections, all the repairs, all the rehabs, all the renovations, and that's spread out over those 10 years, okay? Once all the rehabs and renovations are done, then it just becomes a simple maintenance schedule after that. Any big repairs, acts of God, of course, that totally changes the conversation, but all the normal day-to-day stuff, repairs, replacing different components that might corrode over time, little components, I'm not going to say big components, that's covered in this agreement. So we have budgeted this year for our allotted amount already this year, and then the next few years we just continue to budget that and move forward as we work with that. So,
And this doesn't change where the funds comes from. It comes from the water fund. Is that correct? Okay.
I might just add too that this program gives us the flexibility to absorb those costs and to do it without issuing any debt, as opposed to catastrophic failure on one or God forbid, 2 or more tanks at one time, and you're looking for $10 million that has to be spent today. So it would require issuing debt that way. So what's appealing to me about this program is the flexibility over the course of the term of the agreement. If something becomes more priority, we move it up the list. If it's not, we can move it back, and we can kind of budget that way a little easier over these 10 years, like I said, as opposed to dealing with them in an emergency situation because we've not maintained them.
I can give you a little history too. The ground storage tanks were cleaned in 1993, all 3 of them, and painted. So they haven't been sandblasted or painted since then. Pump Station 2 was painted again in 2015 just by a local company here. North Crest Tower was taken down in 2001 and recoded. So it's 20-some years. So you got tanks that haven't had any major renovations done to them for 30-plus years and 20-plus years.
Yeah.
Those tanks, the pump station tanks were put in the 40s and 50s. North Crest was put in 56, I believe, and then Foster Street was put in 2002. And the prison was all added in 1993. The prison was also, the elevated storage tank was done in 2007, maybe, somewhere in there. So it's been a while.
So, so with all these tanks will be on the program, every tank?
Yes, sir.
And then there'll be, I guess, an evaluation program that goes through and evaluates them before?
Yeah, every year they'll do.
So then they'll be like numbered, and then we'll know, what's gonna happen?
What's going to happen? Yes, sir. That's kind of part of the overall plan that we kind of developed on when these sequences were going to occur. And again, within that, there's some wiggle room on when we want to do that. But with that, in each inspection that John and his crews do every year, we'll be able to know where those are at, what's going on. As a whole, they're not terrible. There's a couple of tanks that we really need to be getting on. But as a whole, it's not, we're not going to lose 10 million gallons of storage tomorrow. But it's something that we need to start being preemptive about instead of reactive about, and hopefully in the future then we're not as concerned about it.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like anything else. 10 years from now, who knows what those costs are gonna look like.
So what's the impact on the people? Like on us, money-wise, things like that? Like I understand that we budgeted for and it comes out of the water and stuff, but what is the long-term impact on the citizens?
It's going to increase the fees. We've kind of talked about that. Just like water everywhere, it's going to start be costing more and more to get that water to the tap. So knowing that, this is part of trying to extend the life of the equipment we have so we don't have to increase that rate today. We can do it down the road or gradually down the road. I just love the flexibility of this program because of that reason. And like I said, if we don't do it, then we're going to be looking, it may not be tomorrow, but 5 years from now, we're going to be looking at, we lost this tank and that tank, and now we're looking at $10-12 million we need. And then that goes into debt, and that gets passed on to the ratepayers. So it's like everything else. There's a cost of service, and that's what we try to do, obviously.
TCEQ also looks at your water system and gives you either an approved rating, a superior rating, or a no rating. And we fought hard to get back the approved rating, and then we even got our superior rating back. So they can take that away with the way Pump Station 3 tank looks right now. It's one that we don't know what we're going to do with for sure because it's on the south side of town where there's not a lot of usage over there. But that's the other thing. If we want to maintain that TCEQ rating, which when businesses or industries come to town, they ask you what your water rating is. And a superior rating is the best rating they have.
And like Luke said, in the current year's budget, we do have it budgeted already for the maintenance, through the maintenance programs for them to be able to come out and evaluate and get started for this current year. So, and Shane, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like what they'll do is they'll present you with the evaluations every year. We can discuss that during budget and determine which projects it is that we are going to approve, which projects need to be approved within the next budget year, come up with a plan to determine what rates will be set for that.
And we're
be
not
able to have an
obligated,
analysis.
we'll not be obligated beyond any work that's already been done. So at any time, we could say, this is not working for us, we want to get out of this. We would only pay
USG Water for any work that has already been done.
In looking at the financial plan that they had kind of shown us, what was it, Pump Station 2? I don't remember which one it was. If that one was rehabbed, renovated to where it needs to be, we would be able to pay that over a 3 or 4 year plan.
It pays out over about 5 years. If, let's just say, for example, next year is when Pump Station 2 is scheduled. If we decide at the end of next year to cancel that, the cancellation fee is going to cost us more right up front because they've done the work. It's going to be needing to be paid versus being able to spread out about $900,000 worth of work over 5 years. So we don't eat the cost right up front. Basically, I talked to John earlier, it's an interest-free loan for the next 5 or 6 years. It's not. It's an interest-free loan essentially.
And Luke, so hypothetically, you've got a wish list or we've got a need list of 10 items, whatever those items are. And we get to year 10 and we're only on item number 7, we can extend this agreement.
Because it's an evergreen agreement every year, it's automatically renews every year until we cancel it. So
Okay.
if we just decide at the end of 10 years or 11 years we're done, or on the off hand that we grow and need more tanks, it's really easy to bring another scope of work into this master services agreement and bring it online as well and just start from day one maintaining it the way it should be. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it sounds like it's putting our safety net in place before we hit a disaster.
Storage tanks are a lot like roads. They're very expensive to build, and then if you maintain them correctly, you can get a long life out of them. If you don't, then they're very expensive to repair or rebuild. So it's just a major cost of doing business in water. And as I've told you guys, that nothing in water is going to get any cheaper.
On the financial side, do you feel like, budget-wise, we have the money budgeted this year and going forward?
I assume you're looking past me.
You answer it, Brian. It's all you.
To pay whatever fee that they have, because I'm guessing there is a yearly fee or whatever to go with it, along with the amount of maintenance that's gonna take over maintenance payments.
Yeah, and I know it's a lengthy to read through each and every one of them, but so there's a master service agreement which covers everything, and then each tank is considered a separate scope of work. And inside that, I can't remember which line item it is, it tells you the cost the first year, the second year, or years 2 through 6, or whatever it might be. So it gives you that lined item out. So it's not, we're gonna get surprised. We kind of know.
Okay.
But
Yeah, so when we discuss this during budget and Luke, discuss his department and wants to be able to say, this is the project that we need to do this year, this is the one that's necessary. We can look at that and determine, okay, this project's gonna cost us $100,000 to do, and we're gonna pay it out over the 4 years, or it's gonna be the $900,000 that he mentioned, and we'll have 5 years to pay that. So we would be able to have a 5-year analysis of what we're gonna be looking at, forecast of what we're gonna be looking at, along with the other capital projects that the water fund is that they're requesting. Water is expensive, and so all of those projects that they have are costly, but we will have the ability to push it out and to play with it as we need.
Okay. Quit asking questions.
You're good. Okay, anything else? Anybody? Luke, thanks.
thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this master services agreement. There's no more discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, right now, we're gonna adjourn into executive session, and we'll be back.
Sorry, Chief, we just sacrificed your window tint.
Okay, we'll reconvene here. Time is 5:41. We'll move to agenda item number 8, which is consider appointing member to the Pampas Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors. And that's members in this case.
I make a motion to appoint Mr. Campos and Mr. Fowler to the Pampa EDC Board of Directors.
I second.
Got a motion and a second. Anything else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you,
Congratulations.
gentlemen. Yeah,
We're excited.
great. Okay, agenda item number 9. Consider adopting on second and final reading ordinance number 1828, providing a method of acquiring a going concern that is a service provider to the general public through eminent domain and establishing a procedure for determining compensation. Ordinance number 1828 reads as follows. An ordinance of the City of Pampa, Texas, providing a method of acquiring a going concern that is a service provider to the general public. It has a duty to the general public through eminent domain proceedings, establishing a procedure to determine adequate compensation for the acquisition, providing for severability and an effective date.
Make a motion on second and final reading of ordinance number 1828 as presented.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. If there's no further business, we'll adjourn the meeting at 5:43 PM. Thank you all for coming.